The silence that chose me. The night everything collapsed was calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that feels staged, like a room prepared for bad news. The streetlights reflected off the wet asphalt, stretching long and distorted, as if reality itself was bending. I remember thinking how clean everything looked. Too clean for what was about to happen. I was standing beside my car when the sirens arrived. Red and blue lights washed over the hood, turning polished metal into something wounded, something guilty. I didn't move. I didn't run. I stood with my hands open at my sides, palms forward, the universal pose of someone who has nothing to hide and everything to lose. The air smelled like burned rubber and expensive cologne. Not mine. Across the street, 10 steps behind me, stood Richard Hale, my wife's uncle. One of those men whose voice never rises, because it never needs to. He held his phone to his ear, speaking slowly, carefully, choosing words the way powerful men do when they want the world to hear the right version first. His son, Evan, stood beside him. Mid-20s. Perfect jacket. Perfect haircut. Eyes already trained for the role he was about to play. He lifted his hand and pointed at me. That finger felt heavier than a weapon. He was drunk, Evan said, loud enough for the officers to hear. He swerved. Tried to hit me. I didn't look at him. I watched the officer's face instead, the subtle tightening of the jaw, the quick scan of the scene, the unconscious calculations. I focused on my breathing. 4 seconds in. 4 seconds out. That was the moment I understood something important. This wasn't an accident. This was a setup. The front end of Evan's Camaro was crushed, folded in on itself like a confession no one planned to make. An $80,000 machine bent around a lie. "Have you been drinking tonight?" the officer asked me. "No," I said. One word. Clean. Clear. Richard smiled. Not with his mouth. With certainty. This was supposed to be easy for them. Money. Influence. Family gravity, the kind that presses outcomes into place without ever touching them. The officer nodded and walked back to his cruiser. I heard the soft click as the dash camera activated. That sound froze something inside me. Because this didn't start that night. It never does. It started weeks earlier. With looks that lingered just a second too long. With conversations that died the moment I entered the room. With my wife, Claire, learning a new kind of silence, not the empty kind, but the heavy kind, packed tight with decisions already made. Richard had been orbiting our lives for months. Business advice. Helpful invitations. Expensive dinners where he paid the bill before it ever touched the table. Evan suddenly everywhere, laughing too loudly, standing too close, touching Claire's arm like it was an accident that somehow kept happening. I told myself I was imagining it. That's what betrayal feeds on. The benefit of the doubt. Then there was the car. The Camaro wasn't just a vehicle, it was a statement. Richard treated it like a symbol of power, proof that consequences belonged to other people. He let Evan drive it like a crown. Like a warning. The night of the crash, I wasn't supposed to be there. Claire told me plans had changed. She said she'd be late. Her phone went quiet afterward. Too quiet. I drove to clear my head and somehow ended up near Richard's office. That's when I saw the Camaro burst out of the parking garage like it was running from something. I followed. Not out of anger. Out of instinct. The impact came fast. A sudden swerve. Metal screaming. Glass shattering. He hit me first. They needed a villain. And they needed one immediately. When the police arrived, Claire stood beside her uncle. Not next to me. Not between us. She never once looked in my direction. That was the moment something inside me stopped asking questions. After that night, I went quiet. Silence is a tool, if you know how to use it. I didn't confront anyone. I didn't accuse. I watched. I listened. I let dinners pass without speaking. Let apologies form on other people's lips and die there, unfinished. I pulled phone records. Not Claire's. Richard's. Numbers don't lie. Patterns do. Late-night calls. Repeated numbers. Private lines that only light up when people believe they're untouchable. I requested the traffic report myself. No lawyers. No noise. Just data, timestamps, brake pressure, speed analysis. Then I found the camera. An old security camera across the street from the garage. Small. Overlooked. I asked the owner for the footage. He shrugged and handed it over. People are surprisingly helpful when you don't explain why. A week later, the officer called me. "There's something else," he said. "Can you come in?" Claire didn't ask where I was going. That told me everything. The video played on a small screen in a quiet room. The Camaro drifted across lanes. No signal. No warning. The brakes flared too late. The impact angle destroyed their story and built mine. Then the audio played. Evan's voice. Laughing. Slurred. Confident. "Relax. He'll move." I didn't. The officer paused the video and looked at me. I nodded once. Later that night, I placed my phone on the table between Claire and me. I pressed play and let the room fill with Evan's voice. She didn't cry. She didn't deny it. She went still. "Why?" I asked, though I already knew. She stared past me, toward the future she thought she'd bought. "He said he'd take care of us," she whispered. "I know," I said. The charges followed quickly. False reporting. Reckless endangerment. Insurance fraud. The kind of words money can't talk its way out of. At the station, Richard finally looked at me, really looked. "This is a misunderstanding," he said, his voice cracking for the first time. "We're family." I handed him a copy of the footage. Not the original. Just enough. "I know," I said again. Evan sat 2 chairs away, hands shaking. The finger that once accused me curled inward like it wanted to disappear. I signed the papers and left. Claire wasn't there. She didn't need to be. Some betrayals don't require witnesses. I moved out the next morning. No note. No explanation. I left the house clean and empty, the way I found myself inside. The Camaro was sold to pay legal fees. Richard's board started asking questions. The kind that never stop. Evan disappeared. Sometimes I think about that dash camera. About how machines don't care who you are. They just remember. I don't miss my wife. I miss the man I was before I trusted the wrong silence. Now, when I drive, I turn the radio off. I listen to the engine. The road. The quiet that comes when nothing is trying to lie to you. The truth didn't set me free. It taught me how to walk away. Without looking back. A year passed. Not the kind of year people celebrate. The kind they survive. I moved to a smaller place on the edge of the city, where the nights were quieter and no one knew my name. I changed my routine. New roads. New coffee shop. New silence. Claire tried to reach out once. No apologies. No explanations. Just a message that said, "I hope you're okay." I stared at it for a long time before deleting it. Some doors don't need to be slammed. They just need to stay closed. Richard's company didn't collapse overnight. Power never does. It erodes. Slowly. Publicly. One resignation. One audit. One article that asked the wrong question too loudly. Evan took a plea deal. No headlines. No dramatic ending. Just consequences, the kind he'd never learned to carry. And me? I rebuilt in small ways. I learned that peace doesn't arrive all at once. It comes in fragments. In mornings where your chest doesn't feel tight. In conversations where silence isn't loaded. In nights where you sleep without replaying everything that went wrong. One evening, I stopped at a red light. The dash camera blinked on automatically. For a moment, I watched my own reflection in the windshield. I looked older, calmer, more honest. That's when I understood the final truth. I didn't win. I was released. Released from proving. Released from explaining. Released from loving people who only valued me when I was convenient. Some people lose love. Some people lose illusions. The second loss hurts less in the long run. I drove on when the light turned green, not thinking about the past anymore, not chasing justice, not waiting for closure. Because closure isn't something others give you. It's something you choose. And that was the moment the story truly ended. Sometimes the most dangerous thing in your life is not the person who lies to you, but the silence you agree to live in. Power hides behind comfort. Betrayal hides behind patience. And truth doesn't shout, it waits. If something inside you grows quiet in the wrong way, listen. Not all storms come with noise. Some arrive softly, smiling, calling themselves family. And the bravest thing you will ever do is walk away. Without needing to be understood.